And we are here with some nerdy news now.
Yes.
A pretty chunky news piece.
Yeah, plenty this week.
There's some bits that kind of skirt around stuff we'd normally talk about, but I think are interesting enough that they warrant discussion. Um, I'm on a roll of getting this mostly in chronological order with the oldest news first. Like this is how on my shit I am at the minute. So everyone round of
Nice.
applause for me, please. Right.
Make sure you subscribe.
The Dune Prophecy trailer has been released. This is the new HBO show that's set in the Dune universe that is starting middle of November, end of November. It's set 10,000 years before the Dune films, and the story is centered around the beginning of the Bene Gesserit. I am very
Yes.
excited for this show. Horry is going to finally go and watch Dune.
Before this comes out, yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Because I'm going to watch this anyway, and it's a brilliant opportunity for you to jump on the Dune train.
let's be honest. I was able to watch the entirety of the 3 seasons of The Boys, 2 seasons of The Boys. No, it was 3.
3.
3 seasons of The Boys in a week. I think I was like 2 episodes short of being in time.
And here's the thing, you're going to finish Dune 1 and instantly want to put on Dune 2. Not even like I may as well just watch them back to back. You're going to be like, no pee break. Need to watch second one now because it is that good.
I can see me doing that 100% and being up till whatever time in the morning.
My only ill feeling I have about it towards you is the fact that you're not going to get to experience it in IMAX. Because while I'm not a snob about stuff like IMAX, it is one of the few films I've seen where I'm like, this needs that experience.
It's fine. One day when I've got like loads of money and I have a home theatre, I will be able to rewatch it.
That's the dream, isn't it? It's one of them things as a kid I was like, that'd be really cool. And then as I got older, I'm like, that's completely unrealistic. And I'm like, if I can ever afford it, I'm going to make it happen because I love film and TV so much. I want the best experience imaginable.
You can buy a subscription thing which gets you like access to films as they're in theatre for your home theatres.
Oh, but I like going to the cinema.
I know, but like for those films where like Venom, The Last Dance, where you're like, I can watch it at home.
Yeah. It would save time, but I think it would start to upset me if I noticed I'd stopped going to the cinema that often.
I get you.
But it's cool. It's cool. Next up, one that I did tweet about, but I just had to mention it. Daniel Craig reportedly told Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos, "Your model is fucked," when they were told why they couldn't have a theatrical run, according to journalist Matthew Bologna. So this is about the third Knives Out film.
Knives Out. I was going to say this must be about Knives Out.
Yeah. So obviously it's going to be going straight to Netflix because it's a Netflix film. In a meeting, I forget who the director is, with Daniel Craig, the director, and Ted Sarandos, they were trying to get him to agree to a theatrical run. And he was like, no, we don't do that here. That's not how our model works. And apparently Daniel Craig stormed out and went, your model's fucked.
Fair.
I'm going to get my tweet because, you know, one of them times where you tweet and you actually nail your feelings about it the first time? That is what I did here.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Oh, so this reminds me, maybe it was for Knives Out or something, but Casey Neistat has a friend who's a director who made a film, was told by Netflix that they'd be able to have a theatrical release as well, and then was told not allowed to. He was protesting like the board or whatever by saying, I'm not going to go to the premiere of this. So I think the premiere was the only time it was ever shown in a theatre. Like they did it in, and it's like, it's the fact that Netflix, let alone it's not their model. Sometimes they tell people, yeah, we can talk about theatrical, and then when it comes to it, they go, yeah, it's not happening. It's like some directors are sold on the idea that like it is possible, and Netflix turn around and go, no, we're not doing that.
So I found my tweet, and these are my thoughts because it took me a while to come up with this tweet. It is, Daniel Craig is used as a generic leading man because he gave us arguably the most compelling run as James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, he's an absolute artist who cares about the medium so deeply, and I'm not at all shocked that he's fuming with Netflix being dickheads and not giving theatrical runs. Daniel Craig is one of the best actors of his generation, without a shadow of a doubt. He actually gets spoken down to or down about as an actor because he was James Bond. And getting all like I love James Bond, getting all kind of era nostalgia out of the way, he's the best James Bond. He did such a good and compelling run as James Bond. It's unreal.
Oh yeah. Like, and there's a reason that he did so and kept coming back for the James Bond films. It's like, yeah, sure, those last couple, like, they probably threw more money at him and it helped, but like, at the end of the day, he loved playing James Bond. He loves that IP. There's a reason that he's like, he gave it his all. He is not just a James Bond actor. Like,
No,
he is an
he's a
incredible actor.
phenomenal actor.
And I love that he is like, you are the Netflix CEO, and James Bond just told you your business is fucking shit.
Yeah, it's great. And hopefully more actors doing shit like that will start to make them go, maybe we should. And here's the thing. I'm completely okay with Netflix deciding, like, as a Netflix subscriber, I'm not going to demand money back if they decide to do a theatrical release first.
No. Like, Netflix was built off films that we'd all been and seen in the theatre years earlier, and they bought the rights to
send you a DVD out.
Yeah. Like, do you know what's wild though? And it could actually be something that's a bigger killer to Netflix. It's you just need, and as much as I don't want these other platforms to get bigger because megacorps and all that, and as much as we always say we hate the fact that Amazon Prime is doing well with video because shitty company, but they're actually nailing it. If they just came along and said, oh yeah, we guarantee you theatrical releases, so many directors would go, oh, I'm not going to take Netflix money, I'll take this money because I get my film in a theatre.
I mean, I didn't include it somewhere here, but there was a film recently that was like being put out for studios to bid on, and Netflix bid the most money, but they lost out on getting it because they wouldn't give a theatrical release.
Doesn't surprise me.
So they wanted a film, they wanted to be the producer of it, but they lost out on the opportunity to do that because they wouldn't give it a theatrical release. That tells you all you need to know.
I do think in the next 2 to 5 years, like, Netflix's model needs to change away from this no theatrical releases, this cancelling shows after 2 seasons because they just fuck that show, don't give a chance. Like, it's becoming a meme that don't ever expect a show on Netflix to finish because it'll just get cancelled after 2 seasons. Like,
exactly.
When your platform brand becomes known as that, you're in trouble. Because then
completely.
the new people, like the new producers, the new writers that have come along throughout the years are going to go, well, I'll never go pitch to Netflix because my show will just get cancelled in 2 years. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, someone needs to change. And maybe they do suddenly change their mind about this, but I don't think so.
I'm not holding my breath. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has been given a release date of December 5th, 2025. I enjoyed the first film. It's a beloved IP on the internet. I think the first one did a really good job. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I look forward to the second one. There's not really much more to say at this point. I'm excited that the horror genre seems to be the only genre that is currently thriving in cinema because their budgets haven't got ridiculous and they can turn a profit still, so we're still getting more of them.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Spider-Man 2, the video game, not the film, comes to PC on January 30th. Insomniac have confirmed that there is no story DLC being planned at this time. This is likely due to the massive data breach they suffered 6 months to a year ago.
Oh yeah.
When like early playtest of
Co-op
Wolverine and stuff got lost. So people saw some early workings of DLC at that point. But so much of it got leaked and rumoured that it's now pretty understood that it got scrapped. So we're now not getting any DLC for this game. It's probably all hackers' fault. Brilliant.
Yes, and I think also like there was stuff with like the co-op mode and multiplayer mode that got scrapped, got leaked,
Yeah.
and then people were like, "Oh, the game would have been so much better at this," and like suddenly the press kind of turned a bit sour around it. So it's hard then for a board to give the okay on putting more money into it.
Exactly.
It's
Um,
unfortunate.
No, I'm not sure if you would have seen this. It's a bit more comic-y news. Have you seen that they've launched a new DC universe of comics called the Absolute Universe?
I have not.
So it's a reimagining. It's kind of like the answer to Marvel's Ultimate Universe, where they
Okay.
take iconic characters and tweak around
Tweak
with
them
how
a
they go
bit.
tell the
Yep.
story a little bit. So the first three that were announced were Absolute Superman, Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman.
Makes sense.
The big changes that people were talking about was like Absolute Batman isn't rich.
Oh.
He's a civil engineer.
Ooh.
He's yoked. His bat logo comes off his chest and is an axe.
Oh shit.
Like they're having some fucking fun with it, and it's been pretty well received as like getting out there and trying stuff.
Okay.
They've announced the next batch of lines they're starting.
Right.
So we've got Absolute Martian Manhunter, which is going to be like a cosmic entity entering John John's body. And when it's trying to find a word inside his brain for what they should call him, it's a Martian. So it's not actually a Martian like it is in the main line. It's an entity that's the closest it can describe itself as a Martian. Really cool, funky art style of colour they've gone for the design as well.
Okay.
We've got Absolute Green Lantern, which I don't know too much about. Looks very interesting though. And the one that's really intrigued me, Absolute Flash. Teenage Wally West. The rogues have already been confirmed, and they look awesome. I'm not collecting any DC lines at the minute.
Ooh.
And that feels a bit wrong. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to play
Very
favorites
weighted,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, very interesting. But Absolute Universe has got off to a blast, and it's so funny right now because for the traditionally popular characters, not in general, mainline comics at the minute aren't doing that well, but these kind of fresh takes are doing really well. Like the Ultimate Spider-Man, where Peter Parker's already married with kids, and Ultimate Wolverine's been announced, and
which we
people are
talked about,
excited for that. And then you've got Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman, and
to be fair,
it's
even
fun.
I'm a bit like, oh, Absolute Batman sounds interesting.
You should go have a look. So the Batmobile got revealed at an event last week. It is a cement truck that has been retrofitted into a Batmobile. It looks fucking awesome. It's massive. Like the art style it's like the way they've kind of described it is absolutely bonkers. Everything is balls to the wall.
I think I've seen the cover picture of Batman in this, like how yoked he is.
He's massive. Do you want to know what the terrifying thing is though? Batman was born in 2004 in this universe.
Oh, shit. Also, it's not a cement mixer; it's a dump truck.
Yeah, sorry, dump truck, but it's fucking massive.
It's one of those like quarry, like, mega machine dump trucks looking things.
Yeah, fucking awesome. They're having fun. Let artists do cool shit. I love it so much. So if you're looking for an opportunity to get into comics and like you like some of these characters, but there's so much lore and you don't know where to start, and you just want to watch the Flash run fast, and you just want to watch Green Lantern do space cop shit, this might be the perfect time for you to go, right, there is no lore behind this. This is the beginning. Let me jump in and see what's going on.
Yeah.
We've got an official release date for Daredevil Born Again.
We do. Was it in New York Comic Con this last week
I think that was I think that's where it was announced, yeah. March 4th. We know. Set the countdown. We're not even 5 months away.
We've been waiting.
I'm so ready.
Same.
I'm so unbelievably ready.
Like we said earlier when we talked about Agatha, like if Disney has finally got their shit together with TV, this is two shows like Loki was great in season 2. We've now had Agatha, which is absolutely nailing it. Like this is high potential for Daredevil to be like.
And you've got to remember that this is going to come out like 3 or 4 weeks after Captain America: Brave New World.
Ooh.
Which has been said to have been inspired by one of my favorite MCU movie, Winter Soldier, tonally. If they nail that and then go straight onto Daredevil, they're gonna have me dancing around going, "We are so back!" Really, really exciting. Really exciting.
Yeah.
More exciting Daredevil news.
Mm.
New Daredevil series called Cold Day in Hell, comic series, has been announced. It is similar vibe and inspiration to the Old Man Logan comics.
Okay.
The story
I'll be on
centered
that.
around an old Matt Murdock who is now powerless and no longer Daredevil, but is still very much the man without fear.
Interesting. I love the title of the series being A Cold Day in Hell.
Yeah,
I I wonder does that
there's a
mean
story there,
yeah.
isn't it?
There's gotta be someone who's trained or something. There's gotta be,
Well,
surely he's got some help.
I assume it's going to be kind of a little bit like Dark Knight Rises by
It comes
Frank
back.
Miller, where he's kind of like retired and he's beat to
Has
shit
to
and he
come
can't
out.
do it anymore.
Yeah.
But even though it's like literal, like even though it was a suicide mission when he was young and fit, it's
Now
like
it is.
actually a
Yeah.
suicide mission. I assume that's going to be the arc, but it's cool. It's going to sell
Yeah.
like mad. Maybe it's one that I end up copying the volume of when the miniseries is done. Being a self-contained story like that, that's the kind of thing that I'll get a little mini series of when it's done. And then getting on something that we both got very hyped for the second it got announced.
Yes.
Creature Commandos trailer.
Yeah. We had a teaser, hadn't we, previously, and now this is like the first proper.
I like the art style.
Yeah, and the kind of the fun they had with the trailer and the art and stuff, definitely. It looks good. I loved just how they sort of introduced all the characters.
We're starting to get a vibe of the DCU. James Gunn's made it very clear he doesn't expect everything to fall in like the same vibe. He's not said it in this many words, but what he means is you don't want to have to watch something and go, "Oh, that's the DCU," like you do with the MCU. He wants the universe to be connected, but you can have different genres inside that universe, which is, I think, the point we've got to with superhero films, which is good. So we're not going to get everything from the DCU here, but we start to get a bit of the picture. We've been so in the dark about all this for so long that now that it's starting to be revealed, it's starting to get a bit real and very exciting.
It is.
Starts on December 5th.
Something like that, yeah.
We have no guarantee of where we're going to be able to watch it in the UK yet. The expectation is still that Sky Atlantic's going to be your best bet.
Yeah. I mean, on the trailer it says on Max, which obviously is different to like Penguin and stuff, which has been HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we have to wait and see. Now TV or Sky, potentially.
The problem is it's 6 weeks away from launch, and they've not confirmed where we can watch it anywhere yet. I am keeping a very close eye out for it, but we might have to sail some seas. Like the COD players today have taken a plane round to New Zealand. We might go for a bit of fishing.
I might go move to New York briefly.
Yeah. I'm very excited for it though. I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun to get our first taste of the DCU. You know, one of my favourite comic book movies is James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yes.
This is written by James Gunn, and although it's not the Suicide Squad, it's part of the same program as explained in the trailer. Oh, Congress has said we're not allowed to use humans, so we should go use monsters instead. It's the exact same idea.
About creatures.
Exactly. It's the exact same idea, but it's just monsters instead. I'm excited. It's nice to be excited for DC projects again.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And on that same vein, Supergirl is due to start filming in the UK in January, according to Discussing Film. So I think the understanding with the way DC are going to operate going forward is that basically all of their films are going to be shot in the UK at Leavesden Studios.
Okay.
Because that is a Warner Brothers Studios.
Yeah.
So it's much easier for them. But I think part of it was about the consistency of the same location, because they can kind of go, right, this is our soundstage year round, no matter what we're doing it here. And that should, like just talking to someone who lives in the UK and pretty close to that area, that should generate some jobs and stuff in the area as well, which will be good for the local economy, which is nice. And then if the films can be good as well, I'm very quickly going to become a fan of DC. So
I think, yeah, it's one of those where the consistency will definitely help for things such as like Superman and Supergirl, where there is very clearly going to be similar visual look to it.
yeah,
They're going to be closely associated. I'm sure they'll have some characters and films that will feel a bit different. Might still be shot in the UK, but they'll like. And also, this doesn't mean they're not going to go to locations elsewhere around the world for different things.
exactly. Shooting on location is still a thing. It's just anything that's going to be done inside a safe
Studio.
place is going to be there.
Mhm.
Fallout Season 2 is due to start filming in a couple of weeks in November, according to Screen Rant.
Excited for that. I mean,
We were both blown away by how good
Yeah.
Season 1 was.
they smashed it with season 1, so
We were very excited when they announced that Season 2 had been greenlit. So
Mhm.
let's rock and roll.
yeah, for sure.
Run it. They clearly have a bit of an idea of where they want to go with the overall story. They left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger.
Mhm.
And hopefully, now that Season 1 was such a success and even won an Emmy, granted,
Yeah,
I don't think it was one of the big ones, but it was an Emmy nonetheless.
They got recognised.
Exactly. Hopefully, it might be one of the cases now where like we'll see with like Vox Machina, where the next season gets confirmed as happening before the current season's finished.
It wouldn't surprise me if season 2 it's literally like as season 2 is about to come out, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we've already confirmed season 3.
And we know Amazon, again, for all of their evil bullshit, and they will burn in hell for that shit. Do not get me wrong. The one thing they are good at is not doing what Netflix do of just throwing shit away that people love. Like
Yeah.
Jack Reacher, one of my favourite shows. Season 4's been confirmed. Season 3's not even out yet.
Yeah.
I know that I can tune into season 3 without worrying about whether I will get another season after that.
Whoever's in charge of the Prime Video subsection of Amazon, like they are doing actually a solid job with it.
But we can't let them get too big because then they'll start being scummy. They need to stay like the third most popular streaming service, so they keep pretending to be the good guys. Now this is really funny. So for anyone who doesn't know, a little peek behind the curtain here. I put together all the news and then I send the list over to Horry. So if there's anything I've missed, he can add it, and so that he knows what we're going to be discussing. The next point on this is secret question for Horry.
I didn't even see this at first till like I reread through them earlier when I saw it like re-going over my notes, and I was like, hang on a second, what? And it's like, this is in the news, so either I'm just gonna go where my brain's either gonna be like, this is gonna be some wild question that you want my take on, or
and I've just hidden it in the news to catch you off guard.
Or this is like something that is in my area that you want my opinion on.
Oh no, you're completely off. It's hilarious.
Oh.
So, we have discussed before how my brain works and makes massive jumps and leaps. So, I was scrolling through various news sources to work out what needed to make the news, and I saw a bit of marketing that was going on that I thought was quite funny. And it's become more popular recently. And it is Hot Ones doing an episode with Peter Griffin.
Okay.
Which is really cool. I like that. It's funny. And it made me think, you can buy the Hot Ones hot sauces. We can cook chicken nuggets. Would you be interested, I'm putting you on the spot here, which is why I didn't tell you, in us doing 2 weeks where we do a segment each where one of us gets to ask the other one questions while they do hot sauces?
I mean, I like spicy stuff.
I like spicy stuff as well. I think some of the hot ones we're both going to regret. But if we were to do that as like the last segment of the show, because it has to be the last segment, I know we can probably both handle stuff okay. The top end are going to punish us. Do that as the last segment, and we get to ask some fun questions. We get to get hot takes, pardon the pun. We get to ask questions that we don't think the other one would normally answer. I think it'd be a fun thing to do.
I'm down to do like, I don't know, even just have a section, do the news, do then a section of, I don't know, we each ask each other questions based on topics that are relevant, and we do hot ones. Like, I'm not against hot ones. I have done some stupidly hot sauces before, and
I'll tell you, about 5 years ago, I was really bad with heat. But we started like it's so fucking. We started doing HelloFresh, and HelloFresh doesn't have a lot of hot food, but it has some spice to it, which just brought my floor up quite a lot to the point where I was like, well, it needs to be spicy now because I like spice. So I've just like over the last 5-6 years, I've just slowly edged it up to the point where now my floor is pretty good.
I would
And it feels
say,
fun.
I'd
Plus,
say
it'll be
my
funny as hell.
floor has definitely dropped over the last 4 years a little bit because I just haven't. There was a period where I was like constantly having like really spicy stuff, especially some Thai food when I was like back in like when I was working in a kitchen. That stuff was, like homemade Thai takeaway. Like that shit can get hot. But I have this thing, and it started when like this is a long time ago. We're talking like when I was 16. I went to Mexico for a holiday.
Christ, before YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. I remember YouTube back when it had the 5 stars rating system and the old UI style, and where you could have a background on your channel. Oh, that's a throwback. But yeah, when I went to Mexico, it became a challenge between me and my dad because they at Mexican restaurants they'll put out 2 like breadsticks or tortilla, like stuff to dip and 2 dips. One was always spicier than the other. I would go in blind every time. Some of them, if you went to like a smaller little restaurant, the smaller, like some of those were hot, not for tourists.
It
but
would
that
it would just be
brought
fun.
my floor up, and I'm down.
Yeah, I think
will
it'd be really
say,
fun.
On the hot ones thing, I don't know how I feel about the animated episodes.
I don't think they do full length episodes of the animated characters. They end up being like
No.
shorter ones. I assume just because of the effort to animate it. I think when like Hot Ones is completely like a PR. And I've got to say, I like this
Yeah.
new genre of PR where it's not all just like late night talk shows, and you have like
Yeah.
like the chicken shop dates and the hot ones. I think it's fun. It's more engaging. I think it's got to be a case of how you feel about the character. Family Guy is absolutely my comfort show.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched it yet, but Peter doing hot wings sounds funny to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, I don't know. Maybe if it makes, I think it finally, like you say, Hot Ones is a PR. It is an marketing thing. They get guests on, they can promote their newest thing, and it's like a sort of interview style, but a bit of fun with it. It's hidden. There's like,
Let's be careful just in case they ever want to invite us.
no, I don't think they would. It's the same as like you say, like chicken shop dates. There's other things that do similar stuff.
Yeah. I think it's some of the best questions. Like I forget the Sean. Are some of the best questions in the fucking bits.
He gives me. I don't know if do you know who Nardwar is?
Yes, I fucking love Nardwar.
Like Nardwar will have like CIA level. Like he has multiple hip hop artists who have accused him of being a cop because he just knows too much, which valid. But like it's that level of thing. Like their research team that Sean has for Hot Ones, obviously, like they get into some nitty gritty stuff. Great. I think my issue with the animated characters because they've had Donald Duck on, they've had someone else. There was another one they did.
I think so, yeah.
I think it kind of crosses the line where I'm like, oh, this is just straight up like a marketing thing. Yeah, this is just a straight up marketing thing. Like it's almost kind of got past the blurred lines, and I'm like, ah.
How would you feel if the way they'd done the Family Guy one instead was Seth MacFarlane, but he just committed to doing voices of characters for each one? So the first wing is Seth MacFarlane, and they just animate Peter Griffin over him, and then he does Stewie, and they animate Stewie, and then he does Quagmire, and they would that have sold you on it a bit more?
Maybe, I don't know. I just think it's this. I don't hate them. Like, I watched the documentary. I think the fact that Hot Ones has got to that point. I think it's doing something very unique that no one's done before, and I'm not against it in that sense. I think it just finally kind of. I'm like, oh, this is just.
You've just become a little bit too aware that it's marketing.
Yeah,
I get that.
But
cool. So, 100,000 likes, and we will down a bottle of hot sauce. Adam Blevins of Collider has reported that Avengers Doomsday will start filming in spring 2025.
Okay.
So not far off at all.
When's that meant to come out? Is it 26?
Yes.
Okay. That should be enough time.
It should.
be.
Hollywood Reporter suggests, and it's actually now been confirmed, that Tom Holland has joined Matt Damon in the cast of Christopher Nolan's next film. The film is reportedly a 1920s period piece about vampires.
Ooh, that's going to create a lot of fan fiction if Tom Holland's a vampire.
Doom 3 is now not going to start filming until 2026, according to the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
This, I don't know if it's because of or a happy accident, but this now means that the cinematographer behind Dune and the Batman, who is the same person, is going to be able to do both films. Because previously, the Batman Part 2 and Dune 3 were both going to film next year.
I see.
Now the Batman's filming next year and Dune Part 3 is waiting till 2026.
I see.
I don't know if it was them like coming to an agreement between themselves because they're both Warner Brothers, or if we've just got really lucky. But hallelujah.
Probably a bit
Protect
of
the
both.
source.
Probably a bit of like, oh, we could do it to delay a little bit, but if we delay a little bit longer, we can also have so and so.
Yeah.
There's not a conflict of scheduling. So then they're like, okay, cool.
Up next, Blade has been removed from Disney/Marvel's slate and no longer has a release date. So, before I get into my rant and my feelings, I'm going to say one thing that hasn't dawned on you yet, but when it does, you're going to crack up. Right now, we have Tom Holland, who is Spider-Man, working alongside Matt Damon in a Christopher Nolan film. Christopher Nolan, who made the Batman films. Making a vampire film set in the 1920s. Also, we have Michael B. Jordan, who played Killmonger, and Ryan Coogler, who made both the Black Panther films, making a period piece about vampires. Yet Marvel have, I would argue, outside of fucking Dracula, the most famous vampire IP with Mahershala Ali, a phenomenally talented actor. And they cannot get this film on its fucking legs. Like, the irony of that is fucking hilarious.
Do you know?
At this point, they should wait for them two films to come out and just make the same film.
Yeah, like, the wild thing is, let's be honest, there has been... Can you think of a vampire film anytime recently other than
the last like big budget vampire film I can think of is Twilight.
Yeah. Like,
there will have been others, don't get me wrong, but obviously we've got Nosferatu coming out this year.
But like how there's been a gap where there's been like no vampire stuff. And then Marvel's taking so long to get their shit together that we're now gonna have two pretty blockbuster level vampire films come along before they could even figure it out.
Let's be clear here. I said this to Horry when I saw the news. I am now convinced Mahershala Ali is never going to play Blade in the MCU. Because
he was going to walk away already at one point because they couldn't figure the script out. How is he, like, how are they going to persuade him to say when he's being told, oh yeah, we don't actually even know where you're going to get a date, let alone if we've got a script we're happy with?
So let's be clear here. Like, let's be crystal fucking clear. He was announced as Blade in 2019 when he was 45 years old.
He's going to be 50 now.
He's now 50. We have been given 3 new dates that a Marvel film is coming out in 2028, and Blade is not attached to any of them. Which means, logically, the earliest Blade is coming out is 2029. By which point, Mahershala Ali is 55. We've discussed Hollywood magic before. Once you get to 55, even though you're going to look great for your age, you can't keep being an action film hero forever. And Blade is not a character that we can throw to the wayside really quickly. He's too important.
You don't even need to look at it. Like, it's as simple as, if it's going to be another 5 years, he's just going to walk away from, like, he's not going to stick around for the project. Like, he's already threatened to leave the project, and then they sort of got this act together a bit with the script and kind of persuaded him. If they're now going to turn around and it's like, oh yeah, your project's been shelved, we sort of are and aren't happy with the script, we'll let you know. He's just going to go, yeah, you can find a different Blade.
Yeah.
The wild thing is, Deadpool and Wolverine was meant to be a joke about there's only one Blade, but that is the only Blade we are going to have, it seems. My little bit of copium is this is Marvel gaslighting us all.
Well, I will add to that copium for you. Apparently, Midnight Suns is being fast-tracked. So
you think it's getting changed to a Midnight Suns?
My copium is they're going to go Midnight Suns first.
Then Blade.
Then Blade is going to be completely reworked to come after Midnight Suns. Which is riskier, because you're going to have to do more character introduction and stuff in Midnight Suns. But if that's the only way to get it to work, because Blade needs that much more work, maybe that's why they need to do it.
Or they just... Because they have Kit Harington's character, right? That we presume would get pulled into Midnight Suns.
That was the assumption. You assume Doctor Strange is involved as well.
Yeah.
And Ghost Rider was the other name that was floating around a lot as a potential lineup.
So I'm okay. Like, if this is like the copium movie, if this is them throwing us off, and it's actually we're going to get Blade in Midnight Suns, well, I'm okay with that. Like, obviously, as long as it's well made. But yeah, there's a part of me that's just like, there's so much discussion constantly around like when projects are, that we've seen it multiple times where we thought a project was dead, but actually they were secretly working on it and it's now coming out at so and so day. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they're saying it's shelved to the leaks, knowing that it's going to go out there, but actually they're already started filming and they're quietly working away on it. Like, wouldn't surprise me. But
I am fully in the camp now of, like, because I can't give it any more copium because I care about this project too much. I've now decided that I'm never going to get to see Mahershala Ali as Blade, which sucks because that is one of the, like, off rip, that is the most excited I've been for a casting. Because before that, all of the good castings of the MCU was before I really, really cared. That was the first casting that I was already a mega fan for, that I was like, that kicks ass an unbelievable amount, I cannot wait. And now, nothing. Diabolical. But good news.
Yes.
Vox Machina Season 4 has been confirmed.
We briefly mentioned it earlier when we
It's going to be all about Percy and how brilliant Percy's life is. Right, Hori?
If I know where this season's going, I have an idea of where next season begins. Which will be interesting. I mean, they went in, like, I think Travis did an interview like around the start of this season, and he was saying, like, obviously as long as people want, like, if people want more, go watch it. Like, we love him making this. Like, it wasn't confirmed at that point. I would imagine, we know how this works. Like, they'll have been in talks, and it would have been like if this does a like base level viewership, that it's not like absolutely drops off the face of the earth, like, you'll be getting another season. I think they'll have smashed that, no problem. Like, I'm more excited for, we know they're working on Mighty Nine. Like, is this going to get to a point where we're going to have like 1 year's Mighty Nine, then it's Vox Machina, then it's Mighty
every
Nine.
6 months, baby. Every 6 months.
If they can
fuck yearly waits every 6 months.
But if they can get into that, that'd be sick.